Santi in Mexico. Hey there, Santi. How you doing?
Hola, Santi.
Hey, what's up? Thank you for having my call.
No problem. We're actually getting a pretty good stream of callers coming in right now, so it's interesting. But go right on ahead. What you want to talk about?
Well, just first of all, so the Sakura call. Well, I had my vasectomy like a year ago, and let me tell you, I have lost so much, and I have been lost. So yeah, I don't think you need to have a kid to understand that.
Okay.
But anyway, I was talking with some friends, and I wanted to know how to maybe get to people to question some things, because without sounding too defensive, too aggressive, because they last night they told me I took LSD and I saw God, and I was trying to maybe talk with them and get them to question me. Hey, how do you know it's God? Because you were tripping balls and all that.
So it's been a while since I've done hallucinogenics, but I have, and I talked about them before. Actually, when I did the event with Jordan Peterson, I talked a little bit about. I know people who've had experiences that they view as. Hey, my brother's here. Hey, Brad, love you. I know some people who had experiences that they view as seeing God or experiencing God, and I can appreciate why they have those experiences. I just don't understand why people think that they're closer to truth when their brain is in a chemically altered state. Now, I will say, I can't say that they're not closer to truth. For the same reason I can't solve the problem of hard solipsism. Maybe they are, when you're on a hallucinogen, maybe you are tapped into the one true one hard truth, the one true reality. But I told the story before about how I was sitting on the toilet looking at the wood grain on a door, and in the wood grain there was a strawberry shape, and it became a strawberry with a face on it and a cape and a big S on its chest, and it was super strawberry, and it flew off the door and did a lap around my head and then smashed back into the door, and I was like, that's cool. And it was incredibly real. And I've seen globs of cheese off of a pizza turn into one of the lizards from an N.C. Escher painting and walk right off the pizza box across the desk and down. I've seen stuff that just looked as real could be. And at no point, either when I was high or when I stopped being high, did I say, wow, I tapped into the one true truth, the one real reality, and that super strawberry is from another dimension, and he's got important things to tell me about reality. That just never even occurred to me. And the lizard thing is not like, oh my gosh, that's the real reality. No, as far as we can tell, the real reality is that clump of cheese that was there before it turned into a lizard and was there after the lizard stopped moving around. It's reality is what is still there even when you stop believing in it. And so for the people who are saying, oh, I took LSD and now I have had an experience with God. No, you had an experience with a drug. You'd have to do some work to prove more than that.
Well, so Santi, if I'm right, you're asking how can you question them while they're sober without them becoming defensive? Is that correct?
Well, yeah, because usually when I make this kind of question, like how do you know it's God or how do you know it's just that drug, they kind of get from, oh, you wouldn't get it. Oh, you know, that kind of stuff.
Well, so I've, one thing that you might want to look into a little bit is looking at some of the street epistemology channels, like Anthony Magnabosco, or I'm sorry, that's really the only the street epistemology channel that I watch is at Anthony Magnabosco. There's other street epistemology channels out there that are great. I think Let's Chat maybe is another one. but they do an awesome job of being able to talk to people without them really getting all that defensive. One of the things that they do in order to accomplish that is they try to like compare and contrast their belief with somebody else that believes something similar, but doesn't agree with them. So like, for instance, if your friends are Christian and they talk about how, oh, well, I felt God, God, the Holy Spirit moved through me. And it's like, okay, well, Muslims, they also feel the same thing. How do you know that it's your God or Holy Spirit or whatever? But they're wrong. Like trying to compare and contrast people of different faiths, of different beliefs that have the exact same experiences, feelings, or anything like that, arguments even. Comparing them might help. I don't know if it'll prevent them from being defensive, but it's kind of like an indirect challenge to what they're telling you. And I feel like that might prevent some being defensive, because it's a lot different than being like, oh, well, how do you know that? It's like, well, this other person says this thing, so how do I know that you're correct and they're not correct, or anything like that? So that might help. Also, I should really at some point in the future, I should probably invest in hallucinogenics. I'm so sorry, I talked over you, Santi.
No, I was just saying that, maybe I should get more into Magnaboxo, because, I tend to get very riled up.
Well, one thing to remember is that, if you're worried about having a conversation where somebody's going to become defensive, not everybody's up and open for a conversation at all times. Maybe they don't want to talk about it. Maybe, like we're having conversations here with people who call in. We're not making outgoing calls to, hey, I didn't call the previous caller and suggest that they were wrong about whatever. They called in to defend their beliefs. It's probably, in addition to the street epistemology as a good reference, it's probably worthwhile to have a conversation with them where you say, hey, I don't agree with you about this, and I don't want it to become a problem, but I'd like to be able to push back on some things so that I can have a better understanding of it. Because if you're right, I would like to also believe. But if you're wrong, I would maybe like to help that out. And if there's no way to tell, then okay, we can just drop it. But see if they're open to a conversation first, because everybody's going to have a line. Clearly, tonight, my line is accusing me of not being able to love as strongly as someone with a child.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's definitely one of your lines.
It's a line tonight. On another day, it probably wouldn't have been so bad. A lot of it is always situational. Oh, go ahead, Santi.
No, go.
Thanks a lot for the call, then. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Santi. I'm so glad that you called in, and I hope that you'll call in the future.
Yeah, a lot of what you see in the responses here. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you'd already disconnected from Santi.
I guess he was saying bye or something like right there at the end. But yeah, I just dropped him.